All right, all right, all right. How's everybody doing this sunny Sunday afternoon? We finally got some decent weather out there by the looks of it. Mind you, I say that, and when I was setting up earlier this morning, it was still only +2 Celsius out there. But hey, it's sunny, blue skies. Spring is on its way, hopefully. Touch on wood. We'll see how that works out. Anyway, we've got everything set up this morning. We've got a good-looking switching list by the looks of things. Looks like everything's just about going to our outbound track today. We do have one car that's coming in from the inbound, but the majority of stuff looks like it's going out today. And busy switching list. We've got 10 cars that we're moving, and a lot of the stuff is sitting in the welding shop today. And our welding shop, just for those who are new to the channel, is this building right here. We're pointing her out with the pointy stick of God. We'll be using that a fair bit today. But without further ado, we do have a couple of things. Well, first, let's get some housekeeping business out of the way. If you're new to the channel and you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. And like I keep hearing from other YouTubers, hit that like button because it helps with the YouTube algorithm, supposedly. And we can go from there. First order of business, though, is going to be to get the Blue Devil out of our main track. He's just doing a pass-through today because they're going to be doing some mainline work at some point in time. So we'll get him going from the east side of our track, heading up to the west end. So he'll be moving out here in a few seconds. Excuse my raspy voice for whatever reason I have it today. All right, he's on his way. Which is good. Today we're going to be doing our switching with our little road switcher here. And number 8204. Sorry, my mind's not 100% on today's topic or today's switching session, but that's fine. We'll get into it at some point here. And we're going to have to move the little open car that he's got here with a whole bunch of junk in it. They've been doing some maintenance work today, and he's going to have to drop that off at the west side before he can start doing any of the switching. So let's get him happening as well. So we're going to get him moved off, get him started up. Hope all the cameras are, I didn't check them and I should have. So far they look good. I think they're all synced up as syncing goes. Yep, we're catching up on all the cameras, so that's a good sign. So our little Blue Devil's just about down where he needs to be to get this show started. And I think he's far enough down at the west end of the yard there. We can stop him. And we'll get him shut down. There we go. He's been released from duty, and you'll have to excuse me for 1 second while I leave the scene so that I can drop off that open car on the one siding down there. So hold on, entertain yourselves. All right, we're going to be able to get this show started now. We're just going to bring our switcher back up to this end. We'll have a little discussion after the switching session. I'm not sure how long it's going to run today. It all depends on how well we can sort out the cars here. But I think our first move of the day is going to be a boxcar coming out of the cold storage facility, but that might not work well. Up at our storage facility, and we'll point it out here, so keep an eye on where that switcher is. So this is our cold storage facility here. We've got a boxcar we're going to be moving out, and we've got 2 tank cars that we're going to be moving out at some point. The one tank car, which is 915, this guy here, is going to be going to the outbound track, and our little, I don't think you can actually see it in the picture, you might pick up a bit of it off the camera, is a small tank car, and he's going to be going to East Maintenance, which is this building here. And we do have a tank car currently at East Maintenance, and he's going outbound as well, so won't work out too terrible here. So we're just going to pull up. We'll pause here for a moment with our switcher. Well, I blow my nose. The only big problem I have with the winter time is a runny nose. Touch on wood, I don't get much of a cold or any colds during the winter time. But anyway, I think what we're going to do first is we're going to grab a hold of. We got a tank car sitting here at our East Maintenance building, just behind it. We're going to pick that guy up, and we're going to pick up this other tank car, because he's going out as well. So we're going to grab him, we're going to grab him, and we might just as well... that one can... yeah, we can grab that white one, that white tank car as well. But we're going to have to do a little playing of games here to get this to happen. So let's get this thing happening. So we'll get our switcher going back. And what we're going to do, at least my mind says this is what we're going to do, and we know how that has turned out in previous weeks. Not too well on my part. So I think what we're going to, I'm going to say it again, what we're going to do here is we're going to grab that boxcar sitting at the cold storage facility right here. So we're going to grab that yellow boxcar. We're going to pull him back, and then we're going to hook up and we're going to grab this tank car that's sitting at the East Maintenance yard. And then we'll pull back again, and we'll pick up the 2 tank cars that are sitting at the cold storage facility. Get a little bit closer here. Come on. There you go. Stop. And did you hook up is the question. Of course not. There we go. So we'll get going here. We'll pull this guy back, as I said. Like I said, this is working in my mind. I'm not sure if it's going to work in reality. I think it is. And where this actual yellow boxcar has got to go is over to our welding shop, but the welding shop's full right now with 4 cars sitting at it. So I don't necessarily want to put him into play over there just yet. So what we're going to do is going to put him back at cold storage here once we get these other cars moved. Maybe I need a drink. Maybe that's what I need to clear my throat here. So let's try that. Cheers. So now that we have this tank car and the box car loaded up, what we're going to do is we're going to go back into cold storage. We're going to grab the two tank cars that are sitting at the far end of the cold storage facility, because there's a oil storage tank sitting over there, and that's why they're there. So we're going to grab them, and then we'll end up pulling them back. And what we'll do is we're going to temporarily park them on the East Maintenance sub-track here. And then we'll put that box car back in the cold storage facility. As I said, my mind says this is going to work out just fine. But you never know. Let's get our AI tracking camera going here. Oh. Somebody is hung up. Somewhere. Oh, it's the little tiny. Why did you hang up? No reason for you to hang up. You're too tiny to hang up. And I talk about this on other people's channels as well. All the gremlins decide to start coming out once you go live. But before that, you never have a problem. Everything runs just perfect. But mind you, my gremlin shouldn't be coming out, because right now, as far as I can tell, I got nobody watching the stream today. But as you all know, I've said it in the past, I will run a stream regardless of whether I've got people on or not, because I'm going to do a switching session no matter what, so I may as well just live stream it. So as I say, we're just going to temporarily drop these 3 tank cars off right here. And then we will drop this box car off in the cold storage. For the time being, anyway, we're going to do that. And so we've got 911, which is this tank car here. We've got 915, which is this tank car here. They're both going to the outbound track, which is good. And our little tiny tank car, once I find him in the list, he's going to East Maintenance. So, yeah. I could have backed up just a bit farther with those cars and just dropped him off, but we'll do that in a second. When you start getting too many, well, I should never say when you're getting too many cars involved in a switching session, because you can never have too many cars in a switching session. My switching sessions are limited by the size of my switching area here, which is realistically 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 feet long in total because of the industries, the way they're spread out. And Field, my friend, how's Lee doing today? The Reds came through there on Friday, didn't they? That was a relatively good game. So yeah, I don't know, they seem to play well one game and play like crap another. Not sure what's going on with them. But I guess that's what the game's all about, isn't it, Lee? So you haven't missed much going on here, Lee. Basically, we got a switching session that's going on. Most of the cars that I've got today are going to be going to the outbound track. I've got one car that will be coming in, but he's not going to be coming in for a bit yet because I got to clean up what's going on over at the welding shop. And I'm just dropping that little white tank car off. Try and do this without interfering with the flow of the stream too much here, if I can. I'm going to say if I can. I got to get over to your stream there, Lee, and see what changes you've been making to the layout. I know you did that repair there the other week, or that change to your track, and just curious if you've done any more since then. I see you're airbrushing, and that's cool. Braver man than me. I still hand paint at this point. Mind you, most of the stuff I'm doing is too small to airbrush for the most part anyway. They're typically end scale people, and they're small enough as it is that if I try and airbrush them, they'll get blown away by the air. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull these guys onto their service track here. And we got to do a runaround on them anyway, so we can push them out to the outbound track. And that'll take care of 2 of our 10 cars that we have on the switching list for today. What are you airbrushing, by the way? You say new project. Are you keeping it a secret, or can you tell the world? See, the biggest problem I have, Lee, with right now with N scale, I like to do kind of a modern layout with modern equipment, modern vehicles, etc. And the biggest problem is finding good, and I've got to repeat good, modern vehicles out there. And it's difficult. Sorry, I'm trying to split my attention here between updating my switch list and talking. And why I said that is I ended up ordering in, you'll recognize the vehicle most likely. It's a grain truck, but it's a European or English one. It's also not properly N scale, it's 1/150th. And people go, well, you'll never know the difference between the two. Actually, you're right if you're far enough away. Difficult to tell the difference. I've got to get these both into camera view here, if I can. There we go. Difficult to tell, but I mean, when you get them close side by side, the wheels on the 1/150th are obviously bigger, and you can see how much taller the 1/150th is, which is this guy here. And yeah, But, as I say, most people won't actually pick that up if you've got the vehicle sitting by itself, because it looks like it's the right scale. And yeah, I know it's only a little bit off, but it's noticeable, especially when you get into people as well, because they're so much taller. But yeah, the industry has to evolve a little bit, in my opinion. I've discussed this before. I think we need to have to attract more young people into the hobby. We've got to try and get away from that old school, not necessarily getting away from steam engines, but that steam era type of scenery where it's oldie worldy, 1940s, 1950s or earlier, somewhere in those ranges. I think you know what I'm talking about. And to me, and it always has been, to me that's a stale type of a hobby, that you're stuck in the past. And I really feel that it should be more modern as far as utilizing what's available out there now. And there's a lot of the manufacturers are creating new stuff out there, which is nice. Modern locomotives, modern freight cars. So they are getting there, but I think more people need to start modeling in that modern era. And what I mean by modern is probably the late 70s to this time frame now. Yes, we have intermodal, we've got the vehicles for that, we've got all the intermodal boxes. Cool. But there's not a lot of that stuff out there to utilize it properly for the majority of the hobby. Again, just my opinion, but hey, it is my opinion. I'm allowed to have it. Anyway, enough of this talking. I need to get this thing happening here. So let's get some switching happening. First things first, as I just inadvertently picked another locomotive here on the tablet that's sitting beside me. And let's get our lights set properly. All right, here we go. We're going to move these guys. So get him set up. Get our second double crossover set up here on the east end. Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, we've got a nice sunny day out there, which is really, really nice. Finally, to have some sunshine and some blue skies out there. And could be just Mother Nature toying with us, letting us know she's still in control. We are still only halfway through March, and potentially we still have, not even halfway, but we still potentially have a lot of time left over here that we could end up with some snow or snowstorms or ice storms or whatever. And this is the most uncertain time of winter time in southern Ontario. All right, so now that we got him set where we need him, we need to back up, grab these two tank cars, and we're going to shove them all the way back to our outbound track. And you know the routine. You're going to have to entertain yourselves for a couple of minutes, well, not even a couple of minutes, for a few seconds while I get them uncoupled. So you get to sit back and enjoy, listen to the music. Oops, hey, dirty section of track. And I even cleaned the track again this morning. Well, I wiped it down. I shouldn't say cleaned it. The bane of the model railroad hobby itself, keeping your tracks clean. And I know people say the best way to keep your track clean is to run trains, and I try to do that, but I think you get enough oxide on the tracks. It just takes a little bit to, especially in N scale, to bugger things up out there. So we're going to shove these guys back. And then we'll see what's next on our list. As I said, we do have one car that's got to come up this way from the inbound track, and I could probably grab him. So hang in there, entertain yourselves for a couple of seconds. I'll be right back. So I'm going to stop the switcher here at this point. I'm going to uncouple these two tank cars. We're going to pull forward. My Happy Farmers Co-op sign had frozen there, so I just had to cycle the power on that portion of the track. And we're back. And we're going to get a false reading from my defect detector down there because I wasn't far enough past the track as I came back. So it's probably going to give us a false axle count here. Yeah, it missed the it missed the first set of trucks on the locomotive itself, and that's fine. That was one of my little hobbies hobby boxes that I built, I guess a year and a half ago maybe, and it was an old defect detector project that I found online. And I reached out to the guy that had initially built it and asked him a few questions on it and asked him if he's updated the software. And he hadn't, and he got kind of, I don't want to use the word excited, but he got happy that somebody was working with the project, his old project. And I helped him with it a little bit. Now, I've said this in the past, and I'll say it again. I am not a programmer. I can build hardware with no problem, but programming it is a whole different ball of wax. But I can be dangerous with programming as well. So I can do some things, look at the code and go, yeah, okay, I kind of get that. And so I managed to do it, make a couple of changes to it and a couple of modifications, and got it working. And got all the voices in there. They're the actual recordings from the real defect detectors that are out there. and it was a case of just sorting things through and getting it working, and I'm quite happy with it. It just adds that one more point of realism to the model railroad, a little point of excitement, and it randomly generates the defects. So it's got it all built in there. It randomizes, and it tells you which axle, or whether it's dragging equipment or whatever it may be, and works quite well. So we're going to get on the other side of this, whatever. I told you, my mind's not on this right now. Yeah, on this spine car, we're going to get on the other side of it, but we're going to leave it where it is temporarily. And why I say that is because it ends up having to go into the welding shop, but the welding shop is full right now with another spine car, with a box car, with an ore car, and with a covered hopper. So we've got to move some vehicles, some cars out of the way there for us to get that other spine car into play here. So I've got to figure out my next moves here. And that box car as well that we moved back to the cold storage facility, he's got to go. So he's over here pointing at it with the stick of God, the pointer of God. He is got to go to the welding shop as well. But we're going to have to do something with these freight cars that are sitting in the welding shop. And we've got one grain hopper sitting at the grain silos. He's got to go to the outbound track, so he's going to be a simple move. I think we're going to do him next. We'll see how it goes anyway. I guarantee nothing in this stream. But that's why I do like doing live streams as well, is because you do get what you get. There's no editing involved in anything that happens here. I do appreciate the guys that do videos and edit them and upload them to their channels. I wish I had the editing software and the skills to be able to do that. I don't. And I'm not going to spend money just for something that I'm not going to do 100% of the time, because editing software is not cheap. So I think first thing we're going to do, I'm going to second guess this, I know I am. We're going to grab the grain car that's sitting at the silos, which are right here. So we got one car there, one grain hopper there that has to get moved to the outbound track when we get there. But we also have a box car sitting at the welding shop that has to go outbound. We have a spine car at the welding shop that has to go to outbound. Oh, and the ore car has to go to outbound. So actually this isn't bad. This isn't terrible the way this is going to work. It looked more horrendous when I first saw it when it came off the printer than it really is. So let's see how this is going to pan out. Get my switches set. Biggest problem is we'll see what happens. What I'd ideally like to do is grab all four of the cars in the welding shop and drag them out. I'm just, I'm just not sure that's going to work well. And why I say that is I just don't think I have the room to be able to pull these guys that far. But we're going to give it a try. We'll see what happens here. I just don't think I'm going to clear the switch. Do 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 do. La da 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 da. Time for another sip. No, we're not going to clear. All right, so we're going to have to play a little game here. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop this boxcar here temporarily. We'll see if we can get the 3 cars to clear. Which they will. So fortunately for me, it doesn't matter how I get these guys to the out. There's no particular order that they have to hit the outbound track, which is fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to move them down our service track, drop them off, well, bit of a lie. I'm going to drop them off on the service track here. I'm looking forward to seeing whatever it is that you're painting, Lee. So I'm going to have to pop by your channel and see if you've posted anything about it. So I just want to clear this double crossover. So we're going to come back. Excuse me. We are going to do something. We're going to pick up that yellow boxcar that we dropped off temporarily, and we're going to grab the grain hopper that's in there as well, because all of these guys have got to go to the outbound track. And that leaves just 2 movements that we've got to do. And we'll have a little discussion. I'll show the the project that I've got that I just mostly completed this week. I am partnering with somebody to do some testing and some show setups and coming up with some modules. And I'm not sure if we're doing N scale or if we're doing HO, so not that it really matters from the perspective of what I'm going to show you, because it'll work for either. Sorry about that noise if you picked that up. Because it's spring here in southern Ontario, especially where I live, we get a lot of water from the snow and the ice thawing, and we have a sump pump that periodically runs and to take all the water out of the foundation area, or under the foundation, I should say. I'm in the basement here, which is where we spend probably 80 to 90% of our time when we're at home, not doing other things. So it is a finished, it is a finished basement here. I hope I didn't just derail that, did I? Yes, I did. I pushed down on the switcher and managed to derail it while I was trying to couple the cars. All right. I hopefully am re-railed, and we're going to see. But yeah, so during these, well, either the spring thaw or during very rainy times here, we'll get an accumulation of water around the foundation. And our sump pump is designed to take that water and pump it out into the not the sewer system, but the water runoff. So it just keeps the basement dry. So the good thing is it's running, because if it wasn't running and we're having an accumulation of water, that would be a very bad thing. So we do have two cars that we're going to have to move here. You know what? I'm going to grab that box car since we're up this way anyway. We need to get him into the welding shop, and we need to get this spine car with the natural gas pipes on it into the welding shop as well. So I might just as well do this all in the same move. So without crushing him into the stop, there we go. We'll grab that boxcar and we'll pull him back. You guys haven't changed your clock over in the UK yet. I'm not sure what date that happens, but we've changed ours here. That happened last night or early this morning, however you want to look at it. So instead of the normal 5-hour time change that we would have, we only have 4 hours difference right now. Temporarily, what we're going to do, we're going to uncouple here, and we're going to push back a little bit. And this is going to be one of these times where I'll end up coupling to the locomotive instead of pushing. I bet. Because when I want a couple, it won't. So again, what we're doing, sorry for the hesitation, I was waiting for the locomotive to move to see if we were coupled or not, and we aren't, so that's good. What we're going to do is we are going to push this boxcar up against the spine car and just make sure we leave enough room. I've got yellow marks on the on my ties here to tell me that I've got enough room between any parked freight cars and the turnouts to make sure that we don't have a collision between freight cars if I were to push something on the other side of the switch. Anyway, at this stage, what we are going to do... What am I missing here? Oh, okay. I knew there was another move we had to make here. It's not going to interfere too much with what I'm going to do. It's just going to make a slight change to what I'm going to do. So what we do have a covered hopper sitting in the middle, right here, this white covered hopper. He's got to go to the cement factory. So we're going to have to break these guys apart temporarily. So we're going to push, we're going to push past the switch of the cement factory. Sorry, dropped my switching sheet there. And then we're going to pull back and we're going to drop that covered hopper off inside of the cement factory. And we'll pull back and hook up again to the rest of the freight cars here, and we'll get them to the outbound track. Bear with me, I'll be right back. We're going to stop there and uncouple. Repeat that so the cars can actually listen to what I'm saying. We're going to uncouple, aren't we? There we go. And we're back. We're back. Oh, it tried to follow me. I forgot. No. Really? There. Forgot I had the camera on AI tracking. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back. Come back, come back. And we're going to go through our double slips or double crossovers here. And these two cars, the spine car with the little blue load on it, which you can barely see. I'll move it back. There we go. And the yellow box car. So our box car has got to go into our welding shop, which we just took all those cars, those freight cars out of. And our spine cars also got to go to the welding shop. And that's going to be our final two moves. And after that, we'll have our little talk on the project. Try and get my switches preset here. Bell on for safety because we're going to be passing through where some people are. And we're moving these last two cars into position. I will uncouple and pull forward with the switcher. That looks like a good spot for them. Yeah, very quiet day today as far as people who are participating. I had Lee, Anfield Road. He's a YouTuber, another model railroader over in the UK. And head over to his channel, check him out. Anfield Road Layout in the Loft is his YouTube channel. Nice young lad over there. We'll just pull up to the far east end of this track and we will shut down and then we'll have a little discussion. Here we go. Let the engine wind down a little bit here and then we'll power down. There she goes. All right, on to the discussion of the latest project. So the latest project is this box. Now, what's in this? As most of you know, I run DCC-EX here, and I've always said it's a nice little system, and it's actually very portable. And in Canadian dollars, it's very cheap. So what I've done is I've created a box with the DCC setup, try and get the light, or the lights not to add too much glare here to the system. And on the right hand side, if I can get this thing to balance, there we go. So this is actually the DCC board itself. That's the entirety of a DCC-EX system. It's about $150 Canadian, as I said, for that board. You got power coming in, you've got two track outputs, an A and a B, or A, which is your main, and B, which is your programming track. I've got them routed down to a power strip or a bus bar here, and they will go out to some connectors that I've got on order. This half is just the accessory side. So I've supplied 12 volts over here, and I have a buck converter, which is taking the 12 volts and bringing it down to a 5 volt terminal as well. So I've got 12 volt and 5 volt outputs on this, and I've got track A and track B / programming track on this side. And there's two underneath this panel. There are two laptop style power supplies in there. One of them's a 15 volt 5 amp, which supplies the DCC-EX side with power, and the other one is a 12 volt 5 amp supply, which is supplying the 12 volt and 5 volt side of the box. Now at this stage I've also added we are 110 volts in North America. I've added, hey, where'd you go? Oh, tracking's on again, darn. Hang on, let me bring it back. There we go. So we are 110 volts here, so what I have done is added a 110 volt waterproof sealed jack on the back. And we take our plug, an extension cord, and we can plug that into this box on the back. Now the whole box is going to have power. And as you can see, we've got 5 volt output. And I've got a little button here to switch between the 5 and 12 volts. And we've got 12.3 on the other leg. So we know our accessory side is running. Currently the DC side isn't running, only because I've got that separated out with a power switch to control the DCCEX. So I've just fired that up. It's going to boot up, and at this stage you can connect any cell phone or tablet to this device because it's acting as an access point, a Wi-Fi access point. So you could have as many people as you wanted logging into this. It does have a username and a password on it, so you have to know what they are. But at a show, you could take this entire box the way it is, like this, and plug it in, hook up your track power, and you now have yourself a fully operational DCC system running DCCEX command station on it. As I say, $150 gets you into DCCEX, and it's an easy way, quite easy way to get started with DCC as far as the command station is concerned. Many people are intimidated by DCC. Number one, for the cost. Number two is it sounds very, very complicated, or overly complicated, in how how DCC actually works, and it scares a lot of people off, and it shouldn't. They think they've got to program all of the locomotives, and the only real programming that somebody has to do with DCC is change the ID number, because every locomotive that you buy that's DCC comes stock with the ID of 3. And what most of us do is we take the road number of the locomotive and reprogram the locomotive to that ID. So for example, this little guy here is programmed as, I'll bring it in closer so you can actually see. It's 8204 is its road number, and within my in this case, I can show you on a tablet. So my roster is there. If the camera will pick it up. My roster is there of all my locomotives. Now, with that box, it won't show the roster, but I could manually go in and put the numbers in for. So if I switch to the manual tab on the laptop here, I would be able to add that locomotive using the address line here, and it has long and short. And short would be the number 3 or anything that's 2 digits. So if I go to the long address and I were to type in 8204, I'll show you that, make sure I haven't cleared it. So 8204, that's the road number. And if I hit acquire, what it would do is it would send out a query to the track, and so long as that guy's on there, now you'll see it's got all the function keys, and that's the functions of that locomotive. It typically wouldn't give you all the functions. It would give you function numbers, but it won't give you what they are. I've pre-programmed that in because it knows what my roster is, and it knows that locomotive number already. But yeah, it's very straightforward. Once you put your ID number in for the locomotive that you're going to be running on DCC, you don't have to know anything about programming as far as building a roster of your locomotives. You just need to be able to type in what your ID numbers are. As I say, brand new locomotive comes up as 3, and really what you want to do, and you can do that on the tablet through Engine Driver, you can change the ID to the long number for whatever you want to make it. Anyway, yeah, so realistically that's it for today. It's just over an hour, so not bad. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to leave it there and let you guys carry on with whatever it is that you're doing out there. And I hope you have a safe and prosperous week. Stay safe out there, and hope to see you next Sunday. Take care, everyone.